No response. Again. Commander Layla Reeves squinted at the jagged waveform dancing across the comms panel, fingers tapping a nervous rhythm on the console. Around her, the bridge of the USS Obsidian buzzed with quiet tension. It wasn't the silence that bothered her, it was why it had gone silent. The Zyri were never silent. 12 weeks ago, they'd made first contact. An envoy of shimmering, multi-jointed diplomats touched down in Earth's orbital embassy. Their message was simple: "We've watched you long enough. You may speak." That was it. No introductions, no context, just a tone of cold condescension and calculated superiority. Earth's diplomats responded with measured curiosity. The Zyri offered no alliance, no technology, not even trade, only a warning: stay in your system. Humanity, known for its defiance, did exactly the opposite. Now, 5 outposts across the Helios expanse had gone dark. No distress calls, no debris, no life signs. Just a data trail ending in abrupt, eerie silence. "Commander," said Ensign Malik, his voice too steady to be casual, "we're approaching waypoint Theta 7. That's where the Prospero last pinged before it disappeared." Layla stood, her boots echoing on the composite floor as she crossed to the main viewing pane. Beyond the reinforced glass, stars shimmered like indifferent gods. No ships. No wreckage. Just space, and tension so thick it wrapped around her chest. At her side, First Officer Yannick snorted. "It's like they're taunting us. Blinking out our colonies one by one. They know we'll come looking." Reeves nodded. "That's the problem. We are looking, and we're doing it blind. This doesn't feel like a war. It feels like a test." Just as she spoke, a quiet chime interrupted the mood. The sensors lit up, red pulses flaring across the holotable like a swarm of angry insects. "Unidentified anomaly," Malik reported. "Bearing 028 Mark 6. Velocity 0. Yannick leaned in. "A stationary signal? Out here." "It's broadcasting," Malik said. "But it's not a language. It's music." Music. A hushed silence fell over the bridge as Layla walked to the speaker. The transmission clicked in, a slow, melodic hum, human in tone, alien in texture. The audio resembled an ancient Earth lullaby, woven with discordant notes like whispers beneath the surface. "Is it Morse?" Yannick asked. "No. It's layered. Structured. But not for us," Malik murmured. "This is a decoy. A lure." As if summoned by realization, the ship jolted violently. Lights flickered. Shields screamed into activation. A ripple in space, a ship uncloaking directly ahead. It wasn't Zyri. At least, not like any ship they'd seen. The vessel was enormous and angular, resembling the husk of a dead leviathan. Tendrils of plasma curled from its engines like dying solar flares. "Open a channel," Reeves ordered. "No response," Malik said. "They're just watching." Yannick cursed under his breath. "They want us to make the first move." Reeves stared into the abyss through the viewport. The alien ship didn't move, didn't power weapons, just loomed. A hunter's patience. She knew this game. Predators liked to watch their prey squirm. "I don't like this," she said. "Get us out of here. Now." The ship's engines flared, but before they could jump, the transmission changed. From music to a voice. Smooth. Cold. Familiar. "Your expansion ends here, humans. This is your one warning." Reeves froze. It was her voice. Her exact voice. A perfect mimicry. Yannick paled. "What the hell kind of tech can?" A second voice interrupted. This time, Malik's. "Commander," he whispered. "They've copied our entire crew's voice profiles. That's why the outposts went silent. No one knew who to trust." On screen, the Zyri ship vanished again, folding into the dark like mist. Reeves clenched her jaw. "Send a system-wide alert. Every fleet captain. Every colony. If they want a test, they've got it." Because humanity didn't play games it couldn't win. And when monsters whispered in their voices, humans didn't tremble, they hunted. The distress beacon wasn't much, just a flicker of static and a time-stamped ping, but it was enough to drag the Obsidian and its crew into the ruined orbit of Pelion Station. Or what used to be Pelion Station. Commander Reeves stared at the fragmented shell before them. The once bustling outpost, designed to anchor human expansion in the Helios expanse, now looked like a spider had crushed a firefly. Debris scattered, lights dead, and structure cracked open like an egg. No bodies. No escape pods. Just the silent drift of wreckage. "Bring us closer," Reeves ordered, narrowing her eyes at the data. "I want drones in and out in 5 minutes. No contact. Just scans." The crew moved with tense precision. A hatch released, and a trio of drones zipped out into the void, beams cutting through the metallic graveyard. Nothing unusual at first. Just floating junk and the familiar signs of trauma. Melted bulkheads, pressure hull ruptures, and something worse, claw marks. Reeves tapped the console. "Those marks, are they natural?" Yannick shook his head. "Negative. They look like they were burned in. Laser-etched maybe, but not by any human tech. Too shallow for weapon damage." Before Reeves could respond, a chirp sounded from Ensign Malik's console. "Commander, you need to see this." He enlarged a video feed from Drone 2. Amid a corridor twisted by fire and decompression, there was movement. A shape. Humanoid, but elongated, twitching unnaturally. Its skin shimmered like oil in zero gravity. No helmet. No suit. No eyes. And then it looked directly at the drone. "Cut the feed," Reeves snapped. "Get those drones back. Now." They didn't make it back. The creature moved too fast. A blur. One moment it was a silhouette in the corridor, the next it was tearing the drone apart like tinfoil, its hands forming long blades. The feed ended in a burst of static. Yannick swore under his breath. "That thing, it was waiting. It knew we'd come," Reeves said. "It was a trap, just like the signal." Back on the bridge, the crew reeled, but not for long. Humanity had survived worse. Earth's history was a record of escalation, of evolution through catastrophe. So when Deathworlders saw monsters, they didn't run, they studied. "Here's the twist," Malik muttered, scrolling through the logs. "That thing, it wasn't on the original crew manifest. But someone let it on board. Pelion Station didn't fall. It was infiltrated. Sabotaged from the inside?" Yannick asked. "Worse." "Mimicked," Malik replied. The AI picked up environmental logs from the station. The creature cycled through crew voices and appearances. It got close. It pretended to be human. Reeves turned sharply. "You're saying the Zairi engineered a shapeshifter?" "Or found one," Malik said. "But they're using them like forward scouts." Yannick leaned in, jaw tight. If one of those things got onto Pelion, it could have gotten anywhere. What if they're already in our systems? The bridge went quiet. Reeves clenched her fists. "Then we adapt. Like always." They went dark. No transmissions. No signals. The Obsidian powered down non-essential systems, cutting its digital noise to near silence. Like a ghost ship adrift. It wasn't protocol, it was instinct. The same instinct that told early humans to go still in tall grass when the predator walked by. They ran a purge. Bio and digital. Every crew member was scanned, brainwave patterns, cellular density, memory verification. Every single one passed. Until they reached Deck 9. Lieutenant Harris didn't flinch. He smiled. "Too early. Too wide." "What's going on?" he asked. "Standard check," Yannick said, raising the scanner. "Protocol." But the readings went haywire. 2 hearts. No respiration. No bones. Harris lunged. It took 6 Marines, 3 plasma rounds, and a containment field to subdue him. When they finally sealed the thing in a cryopod, it wasn't Harris anymore. It wasn't anything human. Reeves stood over the frosted glass, staring into a face that could have fooled her an hour ago. "This is how they fight," she muttered. "Infiltration. Imitation. Paranoia." Yannick joined her. "They want us to question each other. Break from within." Reeves turned toward the viewport, watching Pelion's corpse drift away. "Then it's time we stop reacting," she said. "Let's hit them back." Hit them so hard they forget how to whisper. Because while the galaxy had always feared what humanity could become, no one ever feared what happened when humanity got angry. The asteroid field known as the Virae Sprawl was a natural labyrinth, a graveyard of shattered moons and frozen planetary cores. Hidden in its heart, shielded by the dense radiation clouds and twisted rock paths, was humanity's secret, Black Site Erebus, a classified weapons testing facility built for one purpose: revenge. Commander Reeves stood before a holographic display of the facility's new asset, Project Tharsis, a warframe the size of a gunship, loaded with AI-assisted targeting and neural sync capabilities. Not a drone, not a tank, an extension of the pilot's body, hardened for Death World combat. And it had never been field-tested. "Load me in," she said, strapping herself into the neural sync harness. "Commander," Yannick protested, "you know what happens if your brain rejects the interface. I'm not giving them another station. We take the fight to them now. No half measures." Reeves had always been calm, sharp, calculated. But something inside her had changed since Pelion. Since Harris. She wasn't just leading anymore. She was hunting. Black Site Erebus had intercepted a ping, Zyri frequencies modulating over the Helios deep bands, likely coordinating another infiltration. They weren't just watching. They were mobilizing. It was only a matter of time before another colony went dark. Reeves intended to stop it. She slid into the Tharsis cradle, nerves lighting up like fire as the interface fused. Within seconds, she no longer felt the suit as foreign. She was the suit. Metal limbs, liquid movement, a 12-ton armored exoshell powered by Wrath. Then the alert blared. Unknown ship inbound. Not Zyri. Hybrid tech. It's cloaked, but partially phasing through Erebus field. "Visuals up," Yannick ordered. The screen showed a ship like a floating cathedral, organic curves fused with metallic veins. The inside of the ship pulsed like a heartbeat. This wasn't Zyri design. It was worse. Older. And it wasn't one ship. 3 more phased in behind it. "Evacuate the labs," Yannick snapped. "Get the prototypes to the hangars." Reeves was already moving. Tharsis launched from the platform, rocketing through the maze of ice and ore. As she exited the outer shell of Erebus, one of the alien ships shifted, a dozen bladed tendrils unfurling like wings. "You're not making it to another station," she growled. They heard her. Because the voice that responded crackled through her comms wasn't Zyri, it was hers again. "Layla Reeves. Your rage blinds you. You are predictable." But something in that tone was off. Slower. As if learning still. "Good," she said. "Makes me easy to find." She charged. Tharsis slammed into the nearest alien vessel, cleaving through its tendrils with plasma-edged blades. The thing bled, greenish fluid venting into space like smoke. The other ships moved as one, but too late. Reeves was already inside one, forcing her way through its pulsing hull. The interior wasn't metal. It was alive. The walls flexed. The ship fought back, releasing clouds of spores, psychic distortions that clawed at her mind. But Reeves had grown up on Earth. Real Earth. A planet where acid rain, nanite riots, and neuroviruses were just Tuesday. She pushed through. At the core was something unexpected, a small figure, half human, half Zyri, fused into a throne of bone and code. A symbiote. A child, maybe, born of human tissue spliced by alien hands. It looked at her. "You shouldn't be here," it whispered. "You were meant to break." Reeves raised her gauntlet. "We don't break." She fired. The core exploded, and with it, the psychic link controlling the vessels. In moments, the other ships lost formation, crashing into each other, flailing blindly. Reeves jettisoned back to space as a shockwave rippled behind her. From Erebus Command Bridge, Yannick watched in stunned silence as the alien armada tore itself apart. "Tharsis is clear," Malik reported. "Commander Reeves, she did it." Yannick let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. But the relief was short-lived. One final signal activated from deep within the ruins of the ship. A countdown. No, this isn't just a scout fleet," Yannick whispered. "This was a broadcast. A message to something bigger." Reeves returned to Erebus, her suit scorched but her voice steady. "They've made their move," she said. "Now it's our turn. Call every fleet. Light every beacon. Let the galaxy know." She paused, eyes blazing beneath the cracked visor. "Humanity is awake." By the time the Zyri High Nest responded to the destruction of their infiltration fleet, it was already too late. Across the Helios expanse, humanity had changed its stance, from defensive scrambling to strategic retaliation. Every outpost, every ship, every AI-linked habitat was now synced with one unifying directive: eradicate the threat before it whispers again. The command bridge of the Obsidian was a flurry of quiet resolve. The crew no longer flinched when alien signatures appeared. They adjusted, calculated, predicted. Commander Layla Reeves stood at the center, back in her own skin but forever changed by Tharsis. The suit still waited in Erebus, but she no longer needed it to feel armored. "Broadcast ready," Ensign Malik reported, nodding toward the comm array. Reeves stepped forward, facing the camera. "To all human colonies, ships, and allies receiving this signal, we are no longer prey. We are the knife that hunts in silence." The message would echo across a dozen systems. A rallying cry. But the real battle was not over. The Zyri had spoken through imitation. Their silence had been strategy, not weakness. And now, they were preparing something new, something ancient. Intelligence from the ruined alien core recovered in Erebus hinted at a deeper layer of manipulation, a source older than the Zyri themselves, the quiet architects. Buried deep within the galactic core, long dormant, they were the ones who had built the mimic tech, seeded the shapeshifters, and taught the Zyri how to conquer without war. Until now, they had observed humanity with detached curiosity. But Reeves had made sure the message reached them. A direct attack. So, they responded. It came without ships or soldiers, a wave of pulses that turned satellites inside out, scrambled navigation AIs, and threatened to black out entire systems. But human engineers were ready. Quantum relays rerouted signals through archaic physical cables, a network of asteroid-based servers hardwired with analog backups. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't beautiful. It was resilient. And when the architects tried to invade Earth's neural web, they were met with firewalls built by Death World survivors, minds raised on chaos, fear, and stubbornness. They cracked the architect code not through finesse but brute force logic and ugly truths. Back on the Obsidian, Yannick turned to Reeves, holding a slate. "They tried to overwrite our histories," he said. "But we traced the signal. Found their origin point. A dormant relay deep in the galactic core. No defenses. Just waiting." Reeves leaned in. Waiting to be discovered, or waiting to wake up. "Either way, we can't ignore it." A plan formed. One born not in a war room but in the minds of people who had been underestimated for too long. Humanity wouldn't just retaliate. They would make a statement. Within a week, Project Siren launched, a coordinated fleet drop into the Architect Cradle system, not with weapons, but with something more terrifying: exposure. They hijacked the Architect's own signal arrays and began broadcasting every detail of their empire. To the Zyri. To their enemies. To everyone. Secrets became vulnerabilities. The shadows became light. And the architects, who had ruled through myth and manipulation, were revealed as little more than parasites in machines, relics of a forgotten age. The backlash was instant. Even the Zyri turned on their former masters. Alliances shifted. Power collapsed. Across the stars, fleets once puppeteered by fear began to choose their own wars, and many chose to side with the humans who had defied the silence. Reeves watched the galactic map update in real time, sectors blinking from red to gray to green. "We didn't beat them with fire," Yannick said, smiling grimly. "We beat them with the one thing they feared most. Our voice," Reeves replied. In the aftermath, Reeves stood alone in the observation deck of the Obsidian, watching distant stars pulse. She no longer felt like the soldier who had entered Pelion Station, desperate for answers. She had become something more. Not a conqueror. Not a hero. A reminder that when you whisper too long in the dark, eventually, someone hears you. And if that someone is from Earth, and they decide to speak back, they don't whisper. They roar.